谢谢大家今天来就 Cambridge Outreach Center， 然后今天是很难得的机会跟因缘，我们今天有8个人，今天开了15人坐的车，早上8点从纽约就是开来 Boston， 然后今天就是要来这边跟大家分享佛国的，就慈济在佛国的故事，然后还有其实这群人。他们是就是从马来西亚特地到纽约这周参加 CSW 的一个 UN 的会议，然后首先大家会先有一些慈济在佛陀故乡印度那边的做的事情，然后后面也会跟我们分享他们这一周在纽约参加联合国的所见所闻。那我这边就把东西交给 Steve。
感恩老 Tika， 谢谢。我这边已经有一个 mic。那我们今天答应大家的是，我们会用英文来做分享。Is everyone okay with English as the sharing language? Yes. Vincent? Yeah, we love. Okay, so I'm really happy to welcome you all to our sharing session, exploring values and actions to achieve gender equality. I think this is a really special moment for us as Tzu Chi's delegation to the United Nations for the Commission on the Status of Women, because this is one of our first years of many years that we've been able to invite one of our local teams from Malaysia that are doing development work in Nepal and India to come in person to engage with the Commission on the Status of Women. And with that, bringing their local stories, their voices, their expertise, and their hearts with them, not only to share with those at the UN, but also to come back to our Tzu Chi community and talk about all the great work that's happening and all of the learnings and explorations that have been taking place for the past couple of years under their hard efforts. And so we're going to split this sharing into 2 pieces. The first, we're going to invite Brother Sho and Sister Cecilia to come up one by one and tell us some stories about their experiences doing this development work, restoring Buddha's homeland in Nepal and India. And from there, we will then transition and share a little bit as your CSW delegation, which is the UN Commission on the Status of Women, to share a little bit about our experience after the first week of being at the UN, and also talk about our vision for young people overall. So with this, I'm really excited to invite Brother Sho to join us on stage. Please join me in welcoming him with a big round of applause. Yeah! Yes, so we'll hit the lights for you, and then this is for you.
Are we online now?
Yes.
Audience. Okay, good evening, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for giving an opportunity to share with you what we've done here in Buddha Land. I'm going to share share on the first part of India. My sister Cecilia is going to continue on Nepal. Okay. Why do I need to off the light because I'm very shy? Okay. I look forward for your feedback. Well, Harvard and MIT is one of the top universities in the world, and I pretty much admire the intelligence of people who are sitting here. It has been my dream, but I never had a chance, but at least I visited Harvard today. It's a great place to be, and I used to enroll online courses in Harvard, Austin, Minnesota. So I think I learned a lot. Today I'm going to share with you about the experiences that we had in India about women empowerment and poverty reduction. Well, we are going to look at the case of Bodh Gaya, India. We zoom in on this, and against the backdrop of, can you go in?
Next slide.
Okay. Yeah, as you are aware, India has one of the countries that's still ingrained deeply into the caste system, the society structure that differentiates against background, against races. So you can see over here, Brahmin is always on the top, and Dalit, the group that we are in, is at the bottom, which is fall out of the caste system, or Zhongxing Jieqi, and they have been. Where's the? Okay, as you can see here, Dalit group, which is the group that we are targeting now, back again. So we are trying to help those people who are marginalized in the society, and against this background, I think is one of the biggest challenges, because most of these women are actually illiterate. They have no education background at all, and for us to transform them, it is a gigantic task for us. And it was never an easy. But I can't go next one. Okay. Okay. As you can see in the background, that was me. Okay. And you know, to work in such an environment, I'm from Malaysia, so we used to live in a weather which is on average about 30 degrees Celsius. For us to work in India, it was very much challenging. And I never in my life, having to live under 45 degrees Celsius, and the coolness is 5 degrees, so it's a range of 40. After 2 years in India and Nepal, we are getting used to it, but initially, I still remember there was the hottest weather that I ever experienced. And you can imagine, that you can hardly go up. Hello, welcome. Thank you. Yeah, you can hardly go out during the noon time, So, after a long period of time, I fell sick, I was admitted to a clinic. Can you see this is clinic? I was on the drip. It was not an easy task. But when it was during the winter time, that was 2 months ago, I had a piece on my hand. I can still see the scar. If you want to see it, So it was never an easy experience. But I think what really inspired us was the Master Chen Yen, our Dhamma Master, the founder of Tzu Chi, who have actually inspired all of us, to pay grace to the Buddha. Master always say this, without Buddha, Gautama Buddha, it wouldn't be Tzu Chi. And without Tzu Chi, all of us would probably not be here to share with you. So Buddha has given us the spiritual life, who have given us a lot of wisdom, and therefore we felt that it is important. So, again, this backdrop, I can see this, from ILO, International Labour Organization. 50% of the women in India have expressed their desire to work, but surprisingly only 20%, which means 1 out of the 5 women are out of the job, are only having a job. So 4 of them are not working at all. So Master has given us a direction. Thanks for her guidance. You know, every time we go back to meet her, and we share what are the problems that we are facing, what are the challenges, and she'll guide us and give us the direction. And I think these are very important for us to look at how do we go forward. Boston had one of the most populated, high intelligent people like all of you. So I hope that by sharing this, you know, you can come forward and share and give us feedback. How do we overcome some of these challenges? You know, I look forward for your input, and probably you can help us along the way as well. So Master has given us 3 core directions. First, you have to give them a safe place to live, which is very important. Ansen, ansing, ansen ho. And moving on, having a peace of mind is very, very important. And of course, you want to give them skill, you want to train them so that they'll be able to lead, you know, with a stable job. So these are the core directions. So I'm going to share with you what we have done over time, you know. This was in the early stage. You can see I'm quoting an example of what we have built, what we are trying to do, build a proper shelter for all of them. And you can see over here, this is the earlier stage before we go in. And most of these houses are made of grass and mud house, okay? And here, and we hand over the Dai village, we call it, to all of these occupants. And you can see here how it looks like. Yeah, it's made out of grass and mud. And if you use your finger strong enough, I'm sure Austin, Steve, if you just push with your finger, the wall may probably fall. So, and when it rains, you know, you need a plastic sheet to cover. So you can imagine. So never in their life that they imagine we are giving them a house. They say, a dream that come true. They never imagined that they would get such a nice house. We are very thankful to Master. All of them pray hard for Master to continue to give them guidance, you know, so that they'll be able to lead a better life. So that was before. And we even teach them. We give them a proper table and utensil so that they'll be able, instead of sitting on the floor to eat with their fingers, now they are able to use utensil to sit gracefully, to have their meal. And they used to sit on the floor to do homework, the children. And now they can probably sit on the table and chair to do their homework. So they used to live on this, sleep on this bed, string beds, you know. And sometimes they don't have money, so 3 or 4 persons sleep on the same bed. How lucky we are, you know, we have a proper house. So, and they used to sleep outside if they don't have enough room. And today they can live happily. You know, you can see the blanket that we had that made from PET bottles. Okay, the utensil, these are things that we have given to them. Apart from a house, we also give them needy items such as the utensil, cooking utensil. So they don't have a proper cupboard. They hang their clothes outside, and today they have a proper cupboard. And okay, yeah. So this is where they go for toilet, you know, to do their own business. There's no proper door under the bush, and today they get a new toilet, yeah, with proper door. So they used to think that being poor, they are unable to help others. They don't have money to donate, but we teach them. Where our Master has actually inspired all of us, you know, to donate even 5 cents a day would probably help to transform their life. No deed is never too small. So they have begun. We even inspire them to make the bamboo bank themselves so that they'll be able to continue to do good for society. And to our surprise, that when we gave them, there are 160 houses in this village, all of them return with money. Though it's not a lot, but we always say never do, it's the thought that counts, it's not the amount that matters. So all of them returned with the bamboo bag, 160. So to our surprise, though that's not a lot, but I think we are very grateful. They already learned giving is not the privilege of the rich, but those who are sincere. And today they continue to do that. Okay, on the third part, we say that we want to provide them with a good skill. We want to upgrade their skill, and they are illiterate. They don't even know how to measure. They don't even know how to calculate mathematically. So I think probably Sister Cecilia, she had a lot of experience on tailoring and sewing, so she can share a little bit more. But this is how we begin to look at what are the potential areas where we can upgrade their skill. And to a lot of these women, sewing is a good start. You know, our master always said that because many of these women or ladies, they are not given a permission to actually step out of their home to go out and look for job. So having this sewing class skill, sewing skill would probably be the ideal job opportunity for them. So this is things that we have taught them how to calculate, how to do cutting, how to even repair simple, machine when we are learning this. So we started with doing small because I think for them when they are new, so you got to start small by making baby clothes. So and today they are able to do simple bags. We call it 不会带 in Tzu Chi. So they are begin. So we pay them a little bit of money so that they can earn some extra income. So we also started to do school uniform. It's not perfect, but I think it is an opportunity for them to upgrade and to learn gradually. So many of them are illiterate. They don't have proper manual, and many of things got stolen. So we have to put rules in the class. Like number 7, they are not supposed to steal. They are supposed to be grateful for whatever they have received. So, and they used to communicate with each other with the scissor, pointing with each other. That's how they work, how it works, So we have to change even the way how they sit with their legs on the chair. This is their mannerism. So what we have done is, we share with them the word of wisdom, the aphorism, word of wisdom from Master, and gradually, this is how we transform their mind. So, yeah, one of the quotes that we say, nothing can be difficult. The reason why we are guiding them is this, because there are many students who drop out from the classes because they find it very difficult. You ask them to count, you ask them to measure, you ask them to cut the cloth. It is not an easy task. For those who have not attended school at all, for them this is difficult. So we continue to share with them the wisdom by Master. How can we overcome some of this difficulty that they face? So, and to a lot of these women, they like to quarrel. They like to fight with each other. So when we teach them, anger is a punishing oneself for the mistake of others. So these are things that gradually, it takes a while. It is never an easy task, but it takes a while for them to change their mindset. So many of these women who attended our class have gradually, changed their mindset and began to become a better person. So let me play the video. Yeah, this is one of the transformation story. We did that in November. We started this sewing class in November 2023. So over a 1 year plus period. So we have seen some of these ladies
join you in seeking your own corner of the
behavior to change their mindset, and they have become a new person.
At 21 years old, Akhtari Parvi was born into a traditional Muslim family. The world once revolved only around her family
Yeah, this is our center in Bodh Gaya. So we have the sewing class downstairs.
With stitches not only join pieces of fabric together, but also gradually stitch together in confidence towards the future. Through learning Jinse voices, Akbari's heart became gentler. The mother also noticed that her daughter had become more patient and compassionate. She began to believe that kindness could truly change the world.
So they even step out from his home to become a volunteer to help others and to solicit members. So she's approaching the neighbors, to become a donor, a member for Tzu Chi.
The volunteer said to Akbari, it's not about raising a lot of money from others. What matters most is inspiring kindness. As Akbari visited the villages, she spoke nervously, while the villagers responded with warm smiles and nods. Akbari's gaze grew increasingly determined, and her steps were no longer hesitant. Although the language was different, their hearts were connected. 2 days of companionship not only brought Akbari out of her home, but also into the hearts of the villagers. From a shy girl to someone who always carries kindness in her heart, Akbari knew she had found her own corner of the sky.
Yeah, we were very grateful with the teaching from our master, guidance from our master. Some of these ladies have begun to step up from the home.
There are two types of people who should avoid taking gabapentin for neuropathy.
So never imagine in their life they can do this, I think what we have asked our master, why some of these ladies are so scared of coming out from their home, and why now they are following our footpath to begin to become a good volunteer. Master said, because in the past, they never had any hope in their life, and therefore they don't do anything. Most of the time they sit at home, gossiping and doing nothing at home. But because what Tzu Chi had taught them, to give them the confidence to strive on and give them a direction, a hope that one day they will become a different person. And I think that is very important, giving them courage is important. And when we share this with Master, we say that, we share Jinse aphorism with most of these women. They say Master told us it's never enough. They said that, inherently, most of these women in India, they're very good in performance, Indians like to dance and they like to perform. And you can see here, US you have Bollywood, Hollywood. In India they have Bollywood as well. That explains why Master inspired all of us to teach them how to do sign language performance. So when they started to do this, imagine, they're illiterate, and we are teaching them in Chinese. The sign language are all in Chinese. And to our surprise, within 1-2 months' time, they were able to pick up. Not perfect, but at least they are learning. Let us play the video so that you can see, how the process we teach them and how
the sewing classroom was used as a rehearsal room for a sign language performance. Tzu Chi is organizing a year-end blessings in Bodh Gaya, India for the first time. The volunteers have finalized the sign language performance of War of a Thousand Hands while deliberating over the program arrangements. The song has a beautiful melody and the lyrics are full of positive energy.
Close some of your file behind the background. It's hang. Okay, never mind. We go to the next slide and you can play later. It's hang. Never mind, you close the rest and then Not enough memory. Force close. You force close. Force quick. Same. No, those who have big memory, you force quick them. Yes. This one.
The sewing classroom was used as a rehearsal room for a sign language performance. Tzu Chi is organizing a year-end blessings in Bodh Gaya, India for the first time. The volunteers have finalized the sign language performance of War of a Thousand Hands while deliberating over the program arrangements. The song has a beautiful melody and the lyrics are full of positive energy. Chin Tu, a local volunteer, was a quick learner. After learning the song, he became a teaching assistant and led the group to practice over and over again. The participants were a little nervous in anticipation of performing this meaningful sign language song during the year-end blessings. They had been rehearsing for more than a month, hoping to present their best performance in front of the audience. Although one person's power is limited, when 500 people join hands, it is like having the 1,000 hands and eyes of Avalokiteshvara. This collective energy can help relieve the suffering of the poor. Volunteers from Singapore and Malaysia are leading the way to spread this message of love, which is gradually expanding across Bodh Gaya.
These are the women, that we are trying to train. And to our surprise, when we were trying to teach them, initially they were very reluctant. They say that I'm here to learn the sewing skill. Why are you putting us on the stage? But gradually, when we share with them the meaning of this song, we share with them the lyric, and they begin to love it so much. Now every time they look forward to perform on stage, because they felt that they feel very nervous initially, but after performing, they feel that is something they love to do. And I think inherently, most of these Indians, they have this talent, they love to sing on stage or perform on stage. So not only the women, but we are now training the second generation. Most of these young girls who are ranging from 9 years old to 14 years old, we have also trained them to perform on stage. Can you play the video? You have to click on the link. No, you click on the link. You click on the link. You click on the link. You put a screen, slideshow. Slideshow. Okay. So all of these students, we train them. After the first year, this is the second year that we are putting them on stage, So they are ranging from 9 to 14 years old. So we train them using Chinese language, and they love it so much after explaining the meaning behind. So this is 父母恩重男抱女儿, which is about the sutra of respecting the parents. So you look at their hands, so soft.
新欢旧，唯有那父母对子女的真爱啊！天长地久，至死方休。自古朝起又朝落，白云间在空悠悠。少年不识情恩重，唯有那。
They are now, because this sutra has special meaning, that filial piety is important. So they begin to care and love or respect their parent more, Okay. So apart from what we have done, there's also a quit alcohol project that we are doing, launching in Bodh Gaya. So we are very thankful the volunteers from Malaysia, Singapore, they have gone out to the field to promote this healthy, to stop drinking, because to have a better, healthy life. So we show to them, these are examples, we show to them, their liver. If they drink alcohol, this will be the consequences. Example, we also care for them that we measure their heart pressure, for instance. These are examples. The continuous care for them, not just from shelter, but also care for their overall well-being. So, and because of the care and the influences by our local, today we have converted over 100 of them have quit alcohol drinking over a period of about a year. So I think we are very grateful. We invited them to go on stage, during the year-end blessing, which was held in January this year. And a lot of them had came forward, and they were very, very happy that they are now become the advocate, the spokesperson for Tzu Chi, why and how they have stopped drinking alcohol. So, next. Yeah. So we have also launched what we call Wuling Gao Shou, 5-0 program. So one of the first 5 is zero rubbish, because the locals like to throw rubbish. Every time when they eat something, they throw on the floor. So we were trying to make them to take care of their environment. Zero dropout means that there's no student left behind. You want all of them to go to school. So we are about to achieve, at least for the school children, that they should go to school. Zero alcoholism, zero meat eating, because to protect an environment, we hope that they become vegetarian. And the last, of course, not just become a beggar, but a lot of time when we went to this village, we found all of them like to show their hand, begging for money, even the children. So we wanted them, to stop doing it. So they'd be grateful and to start giving to others, to help others. So to cut it short, I think Master has always inspired us, how do we achieve it? This is what Master always said. When we serve, we always serve with a gratitude mind. We must respect them, even though they may be out of the caste, but we should treat them equally with love and care. Thank you so much for this. And if you have questions, yeah, please. Anyone?
All of the sign language, are they students?
Some students, some are sewing class
I see.
students. The elder.
They do go to school.
Yes, of course. No, the woman, they've never been to school, but the student, yes, they are school children.
School children.
How do you interact with the locals? Do you use translators? Did you learn the local language, or you're learning English?
Good question. So we have the local volunteers who are beside us most of the time. Those local volunteers, they can speak English. So whatever we say to them, it is through translation. We can speak very little, but we use sign language a lot. But I think that what Master had taught us is, which is key. As long as you always hold their hand with love and care, I think they will respond positively. Leading by example is very important. Yeah, thank you. Any more? If not, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Brother Shou. I think we'll now invite Sister Cecilia to come join us on stage to continue our conversation around restoring the Buddha's homeland, showcasing some of her reflections on the work that she's been undertaking as well.
Thank you, Steve, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to meet all the energetic and enthusiastic young minds. Before we go into our topics regarding the Buddha lands, I would like to take a short time to make an interview of myself. I was graduated in 1993 when I was like as young as you all. It was like 30 years ago. And right after my graduations, I returned to my hometown in Malaysia. At that summer break, one of my friends told me about there is an organization doing a charity fair to raise funds for the floods in Nepal. So I went together with my friend to that event. This is my first time to get to understand about Tzu Chi. It was all new for me for the ideas of what we have been known through that events. And it was like 30 years ago. Sorry. So afterwards, I often join my friends to visit some nursing home and rehabilitation centers in Malaysia, and to show support and care to those who in need. Gradually, I start participating in a lot of like charity home visits events, and it continues up to the present day. During the home visits, we have met or saw a lot of struggling lives. Families once wealthy feel apart due to conflicts or illness. We once carried out a community care assistant in a densely populated apartment complex where many elderly people live alone, neglected and without care. In one evening afterwards, as like usual, I go with my team to visit an elderly woman who had once worked as a chef in a palace of one of the states in our place. And after her child passed away unexpectedly, she felt herself ill. She struggled to even afford the daily meals. As we were about to leave after understand her situations, the ladies told us, if you hadn't come tonight, if I hadn't known that Tzu Chi was coming to help me, I would prepare to jump from my apartments. She was staying at like 11th floor from that complex. So if he had jumped down, we could not imagine what would be happen. Luckily, we arrived in time. The visit shows me life's hardships and making me more grateful for what I'm having. Helping people says, when people are saying, thankfully Tzu Chi is here, it reminds me that we are giving a little of our time. It is very meaningful and deeply rewarding. So I joined Tzu Chi right after my graduations, when I was curious about the world, and now Tzu Chi becomes a big part of my life. It's about like 20 years ago, I moved to Shanghai because of my husband's jobs, and I start joining overseas relief projects. During that time, we spent lots of time on helping poor families, children to stay in school and support girls who had dropped out to return to their studies. When Cyclone Nargis in Myanmar hit Myanmar, we work with the local volunteers to provide emergency help and long-term support. Guided by Sang Ren, we help the farmers recover and taught them to save a handful of rice to help others in need. Over time, they learned to help their neighbors and even whole villages. After the pandemic, we went to Nepal, the Buddha birthplace. There we trained them with the skill like what Brother Seo is showing skills. A lot of things that seem impossible become possible under master guidance. And things even turning out better than what we can imagine. These are the reasons that keep me going on in Tzu Chi, and that's the reason that I'm still here. Okay. My grandmother was a Nonya, and my mom is a tailor who made Shanghai cheongsam. So it was like very common when I was young. I watched my elders doing various kind of needleworks and tailoring. As I can remember, when I start to go to kindergarten, one of the day, there is a lot of sewing machine moved into our house, and I was told that we are going to start to run a factories. So slowly, when I get older, I have already learned on how to sew buttons, iron cloth, and even I have to pick up a lot of skill like dyeing the fabrics and everything's related to how to make a garment done. So you can imagine most of my childhood is stay together with the machines and all kinds of like factory things. Later on, once I complete my high school, my parents decided to send me further to learn about fashion designing, international training, and organizing of garment factories. It's about like 10 years ago, I made a so-called like important decisions. I want to quit from what I have been doing for a lot of my times. So I sent a WhatsApp to our family's group to say that finally everything is over. I didn't have to work in hot workshop, rushing overnights for orders, and carry heavy baggage to rush for trips through. And during the pandemic, all like things start to come back to me again. At that time, I think everyone we can remember like we have a shortage of a mask. And from the guidance of Sang Ren, we are using the video calls to teach the women in Lumbini, Nepal, to sew some cloth masks so that they can earn some living or some income during the shutdown. So right after the pandemic, we go back to Nepal, and that was our first time to meet the girls. When they learned about that Sang Ren, who had been helping them all the while, was also a woman, they come out bravely and tell us that the sewing mask project's been helping them to get money for rice, to sustain the school fee for their children, and even repaying the debts. They asked us and urged that can we pass a message to Master to give them an opportunity to learn about sewing. This is how everything bring me back to my old time. At first, I was actually very reluctant to return to my old professions. In Tzu Chi, I prefer to do charity instead of like teaching them the sewing because I feel quite suffering and it's taking up a lot of time to do this and I want to like get out of it. However, there is a lot of challenges because of the team who handle it doesn't have the expertise to handle it. So I like jumping in to the same things again. So, but as we have to work together, as long as like 8 hours every day together with the girls, I come to understand a lot of hidden struggles. Now I'm completely like drawn into this work and can't step away anymore. So we don't just teach them like what Brother Seo is saying on sewing itself, but most importantly, through the daily working together, we teach them how to walk, why they have to queue, and what kind of like so-called like communications we need to have in order to gain support, care, and love. There's a lot of interactions. We demonstrate them on how to eat properly, sit on the tables, instead of like just now, Brother Cyril is showing they are sitting, they are used to sit on the floor because they don't have table at their place. It's a lot of things that we can't imagine. Even they don't know how to use the flush toilet because they don't have toilets in their house. So this is how we gradually bring them out. I think we have some, all us little things, but we have a lot of like moving forwards or achievement, I can say. But as now we already trained up nearly like 100 women with a drop up of 30%. A lot of them, they leave the class, not only like they have difficulties on learning, but because they receive marriage proposal. And also due to the pregnancies or continuous oppositions from their family. The situation makes us value the women and girls who remain even more. Initially, we just wanted to teach them on how to operate a sewing machines, how to sew, but Shangren advised us not to rush because we want to train to be highly professional. Therefore, we revised our plan. Instead of 4 months, we extended it into the 12-month course. So throughout, so-called like a lot of adjustment or understanding with the women, we discovered that in Nepal, a lot of them do not have the opportunity like all of us to get a complete education. That's why they do not know how to do calculations, and even they cannot speak their own Nepali language. So we encounter a lot of difficulties, like we have to go or link up with them in order to share what we want or in order to bring them up. We teach them or we show them a lot of things like seem not related to sewing, but actually we are trying to so-called like open up their mindset and change their habits, making concept we want to convey more effectively. Many places are very poor, even more so than Lumbini in Nepal. The main reason that we spend so much time and efforts in Lumbini because it is the birthplace of Buddha. When Prince Siddhartha left the palace to find a way to free people from suffering, he gave up the royal life and found the truth of life. We benefited from the Buddha's teachings, but looking back, we realized that the Buddha's hometowns is under development. So Sangren led us to improve their backwardness and poverty. And gradually, Master trying to show us another so-called like program where we can turn their living room into a small factories so that they can have something to do in their spare time to earn for their living. So I would like to share about a girl. Her name is Rinky. Rinky is the girls in our sewing class, which is like poorest among all of them. So we went every day to Rinky's house in order to convince the fathers to send her daughter to our living room factories. But the fathers sometimes invite us for breakfast, but she are like not willing to make decisions for her daughter to coming out. So we asked the father if the daughters already have a marriage proposal from somebody, then the father shook his head. Because they are so poor to prepare the dowry for the daughter, that's why nobody come and propose her. So we asked the father to give us 1 month time. If he feel that the girl is not suitable to work out from the family, then we won't come every day to the house. So finally, the father agreed. 1 month later, Rinky received her first salary from our living room workshop. She used her earning to buy 2 bags of fertilizer for her father to use in her farm. So we see hopes. And gradually, we are bringing them out from the classroom to the village in order to care about their neighborhoods. This is something like a quantum leap for us because they are so scared and worried to go into their own village to care of the neighborhoods. Because first of all, the girls coming out from the village and work in a workshop running by a group of foreigners has been create a lot of so-called like, how to say, so-called of, 我不能讲责备哈questions from the neighborhoods, and now we want to bring them back to the neighborhoods. So it takes a long time for us to let them to coming out and go back to the factories, but to go back to the village to care about the neighborhoods. But a lot of them, like Rinky, they've been inspired by how Tzu Chi was started. So they decided to make an extra bags every day, and they save the bags into a bucket. By end of the month, they take out and they donate the bag to us. Their wages are counted by how many pieces of bags they make every day. Means that they are willing to donate their piece wages to sustain our charity fund in the place. Rinky is the one who donates about 40% of her salary in order to help her own neighborhood. So I think we are shortage of time. I would like to invite everyone to watch one of the short videos so that you can have a better understanding for what I have been saying. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and 感恩。
यस्तो छ नि हामीहरूको जस्तै कि अब मधेसीमा कतैतिर पठाएको छैन आइमाईहरूलाई
巴莎20岁，她在15岁那年告诉父亲，想减轻家庭的经济压力而休学。只是在传统的约束下，她只能在家做饭、忙家务与睡觉。但其实，巴莎心中有个梦想。
सपना ते बाद सिलाई सीखे के बाद सिलाऊँ के फिर पैसा कमाए के दुकान खोले के अभी ते नहीं लागल कि सपना पूरा होई काहे से घर के समस्या बा हमार बाबा बाना तो वो कर्जा हर बार से जोन कमाते तो कर्जा तीर देता ना मनोज सर बाना वाला ना कहे कि मनोज सिलाई सीखो कि नहीं बहनी
Is that correct? 16?
他们现在遇到什么困难的事情？
让他量高度16，他量宽度。
没办法念到很完整的教育，所以他们来的时候也不会计算这个概念，他是没有。但是我们没有想过要放弃，教10遍不会，那我们教20遍啊。
将近6个月的学习，拥有基本技术的他们要如何谋生？ 又是个考验。
如果我们能够集合这些女孩子在家里，像上人说的，台湾以前的这种把客厅当成车间的话呢，那也许他们会找到一个有生计的这个方式。
2023年5月，慈济在蓝皮尼的第一个缝纫工作站，就开在巴沙所住的村庄大街旁。巴沙已经是这里的裁缝员，这是他人生的第一份工作。
我们开始发第一次薪水的时候，我们看到希望。巴卡赚取到的第一次生命中的第一次薪水，全部给了爸爸。巴卡的爸爸买了2片的新板，因为他们家漏水。这2件事情让我们看到希望。只要他们有能力，女孩子也可以撑起家里的生计。
巴沙因为慈济职能培训中心的缝纫班，重启他的梦想，而他也前行在梦想的路上。实现性别平等，并赋予妇女权利，是联合国永续发展目标之一。其实这在尼泊尔并不容易，但是巴沙让我们看见了希望。这是慈济60年的日常。感恩有您，让世界充满爱。
Show for your sharings. We have about 30 minutes left in our time together, and I'd love to transition us to maybe sitting in a circle together so that we can continue our sharing. We have quite a lovely delegation that came up from New York that's been participating in the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. And it would be, I think we'd love to share some stories to take what's being talked about at the UN and bring it back into our Tzu Chi communities and reflect with you on how our different individual experiences are working to help safeguard and achieve gender equality. So if you can just join me in like shifting chairs around a bit as we sit in a circle together, that'd be lovely. So we'll just use the chairs that we're sitting in, and the rest we can put on the side. Okay, cool. Where's the second mic? The sister, okay, nice. Cute. All right, so this year, so every year the UN comes together on the Commission on the Status of Women. It's a conference on gender equality and, oh, sure. It's a conference on gender equality, and then it's an opportunity for Tzu Chi to kind of showcase some of these solutions, similar to what Brother Shou and Sister Cecilia have shared with you, 2 different government officials, UN agencies, and other civil society organizations. And so Tzu Chi has sent a delegation of about 16 individuals to attend this conference, and we also want to frame this in that this conference is open for other Tzu Chi community members to attend too. So if you're interested in gender equality, if you're interested in any of these UN social issues and want to come and engage with Tzu Chi at the UN, that space is more than open. But so since some of our delegation is here, we wanted to take the moment to kind of share and reflect a little bit with each other on what our experience has been attending the CSW, what's been inspirational and touched your heart, and then also what I think coming back to like youth can do if we care about gender equality to kind of help promote and advocate this issue further, recognizing we all play different roles. So I think we'll kind of go down the row and introduce everyone once again and continue in our conversation and reflection. But so on my side, I'm Steve. I serve as Tzu Chi's representative to the UN. I've been in this capacity now for 10 years. And I think for me, I've constantly felt like CSW is one of Tzu Chi's homes, right? It's we're a women-founded, women-led Buddhist humanitarian organization, and in that, a lot of our organization has this spirit of gender equality. And so for me, showing up feels like coming home to a community of other gender equality advocates that feel similarly about our values, right? So it's a really fun place to kind of interact and engage with people. But this time, what's really touched my heart has been seeing like this outpouring of love and support from our Tzu Chi community in New York City as we organize this work, right? We're 16 people that are within the Tzu Chi community, but we've had 20, 30 Tzu Chi New York volunteers that have had to come in and support our delegation, whether it's from logistics, transportation, all the way to like event planning and making sure that our events are hosted smoothly. It's tremendous always for me to see like so much love and care being put in by our volunteers to support some of the work that we're doing to ensure that our voices are reaching people at the UN. And I think for me, as it comes to what youth can be doing to kind of support the work of gender equality, I'm a really big believer in embodying the values that we wish to espouse, right? And so when we talk about like wanting to bring the UN to the community, I think we have to show up to community, right? So we drove all the way from Boston up here. Or no, we drove from New York to Boston. Yeah, there you go. But like really putting our money where our mouth is, right? And saying, so similarly, if we advocate for gender equality, like, are we ensuring that the majority of our delegation is women and girls, right? And I'm very proud to say it is. Are we ensuring that the way we treat each other in how we make decisions and how we communicate with each other is grounded in matriarchal values of deep listening, of empathy, of compassion, of patience, or are we embodying and imbuing patriarchal values of like wanting to have hierarchy in our decision making and wanting to exploit each other for our own personal gain, right? These are things that I think we're constantly looking to embody the positive, right? Let's embody these matriarchal values that Master has taught us simply through this framework of gratitude, respect, and love. And I think in that way, if we're able to identify these positive values that reflect the vision of gender equality that we want, and we're able to put that into our own lives as young people, I think we really have a chance to shape the future societies we wish to see. Yeah. I'll pass it over to Tiff to continue on.
Hi, so my name is Tiffany, and I am a project specialist in Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation, working under Global Partnership and Youth Development. So it's a very long name for a department, but generally we engage with the UN, and the other part is youth development. How do we help young people have the experience to come to the UN? And I think CSW, this is actually my first time in CSW, so I've attended other UN events, but CSW is the first one. And I think one of the things about CSW, it's very friendly. You know, a lot of UN conferences, especially in the challenging times that we're living in, can seem a little, I guess, there's a lot of despair and a lot of misinformation, a lot of conflict, right? But in CSW, you can really see hope. And people supporting each other, people wanting to work with each other, and there's a lot of open dialogue about how do we get it right, or how do we move forward and develop. I think that's something that is very unique to CSW. And I think coming to CSW, one of the things I really wanted to do is how do we support the women-led work that we're doing. So from my experience in working in Poland with the Ukrainian volunteers, so most of the Ukrainian volunteers I was working with were refugees all women with children, right? So they got to a new country, they didn't know any of the language, but they were so willing to help each other out, and they were so willing to do the work to support other women and other communities. And I think from their strength and courage is something that I really hope to share in CSW. When talking about youth, I think a lot of times we find it really hard to get into this space, right? This UN space. It's a lot of big words. It's a lot of acronyms. Like Steve sprouts out acronyms like alphabet soup all the time, and it's very hard for us to engage. But especially with gender equality, I think one of the things that we can do is it really starts with ourselves, right? Like Steve was talking about how we practice it and embody these values. One of the things is to embody the values, we need to understand what the values are and have that knowledge about what we want to achieve, right? So I think one of the things is in social media, there is so much information and a lot of misinformation as well. So how can we find the right information, correct information from the misinformation, and then to make it our own, right? And then to share that with other people. If we're passionate about something, you would want to share with other people. Sometimes they might want to listen, sometimes not. I'm sure the many times I've shared things with my brother, my peers, they're not very willing to listen to me, right? My brother, one of his favorite phrases to me is like, Tiffany, just how about you go and talk in the corner? So I think one of the things is like, but when you share this, you would find like-minded people, right? Like people that resonate with the things that you're talking about and want to practice and want to continue this work with you. And I think that's one of the things is like, in Tzu Chi and in this group of delegation that we have coming to CSW, it's so easy because these are the people that want to do the work. They are on the same page as you, and you feel that sense of passion and belonging and the sense of action, of wanting to do things together. So I think that's kind of my experience with CSW so far. It's the first week, so I'm hoping to learn more in the second week as well, and definitely learning a lot from the volunteers, may it be in New York, where a lot of the volunteers, they've just been, I guess, like very silently helping us out with a lot of things, and seeing how mindful they are when they're doing work has inspired me a lot. And of course, with our Malaysian brothers and sisters here, the work that they're doing on the ground sometimes comes with a lot of sacrifice. And I believe that we can all learn a lot from that work, and hoping that together we can make the world a better place.
I love that. Thanks so much, Tiff. And so to our friends who are coming in now, welcome to our session. We've been exploring values and actions to achieve gender equality. Brother Sho and Sister Cecilia have shared a little bit of their experiences in Nepal and India, and how they've been working with communities to uplift them out of poverty and really tackle and face gender inequality at its forefront. And so as we are participating in the Commission on the Status of Women, we also wanted to share a little bit about what some of these actions we've been experiencing have been, and some ideas around how young people can be taking actions to address gender inequality. And so I'll pass it over to Eunice to continue us on in this conversation.
All right, thank you, Steve. Hello, everyone. My name is Eunice. I'm from Malaysia, but I'm now based in Michigan. First of all, I just want to say thank you, and I'm very grateful to be here in Boston and to be here in this service center. It is always very heartwarming to see our Tzu Chi family from different places. So thank you for accommodating us today. This is my first CSW. So I'm the youngest in the team, I believe today. Yeah, so I'm the youngest, and of course I'm the least experienced one among us as well. So yeah, they are having a lot of experience. So throughout the week, I've learned a lot from them. But before I came to CSW, I didn't know what is CSW about. Like, I didn't know what to expect. But I started to ask myself, what does gender equality mean to me? So I came from Malaysia, and I grew up in a very traditional Asian family, right? So, but I observed how my parents' generation, my mom and my dad, how they receive some mistreatments just because of their gender. So my mom was telling me that, so my mom has a total of 10 siblings. And my mom had to drop out from school at the age of 15 because she had to help my grandma to, go out and help my grandma to sell some snacks to support the family. But she also told me that how much she wished she could continue her education, but she couldn't but the other boys in the family, they continue with their education and all, but the girls had to stay at home to help, to support the family. And so that is also one of the reasons why my mom emphasized a lot on education. And very thankfully, all of us in my generation, in my family, we were treated equally, and we were all able to complete our education. So I would consider my generation as we are all very blessed, right? But I remember at CSW, a few days ago, we heard from Brenda, who actually shared with us that according to the Gender Gap Report in 2024, we will still need another 134 years for women to reach equality with the men. So this really hits me, like we are all in a very blessed and fortunate place where we are treated equally, but there are a lot of other places they don't get this privilege, like what we have heard just now from Nepal and also India. So I feel like young people like us, like, we really have to, step out and to know more about what is happening around the world. So it is really nice to come to the CSW, to UN, you get to know a lot, you get to learn a lot from sharing stories from other organizations and from stories from all around the world as well. So not just the work that Tzu Chi has been doing. When you attend the CSW, you get to know, you are so much of inspiring stories from the other organization as well. Yeah. So I want to share about one of the event at the CSW. So during the CSW, actually just 2 days ago, so we had this artisan fair. So artisan fair is where a lot of us would gather and we will sell some handcraft items. And it's just many different organizations, we gather and we have our booth and people will come to our booth and look at the items. So Tzu Chi also participated in this as well, and we showcased the handcraft items from made by the women in Nepal. So I would say it was a really fun day. I observed and I saw a lot of very cute and warm interactions among people, right? Like among different organizations, how we are able to mingle around during that event. And I still remember after this artisan fair, so Sister Cecilia, she was asking me, like, because on that day, actually, our booth, our Tzu Chi booth actually received a lot of attention, I would say. A lot of people, they came up to our booth and they are interested to know our items, and we also eventually, we were able to sell quite a lot of items. So Sister Cecilia was asking me, do you know what made our booth a success? So she was telling me that it is because of the stories behind these items, right? Because we saw actually on that day at the fair, actually a lot of other handcraft items, they are so much prettier and maybe cheaper. I don't know, like, they're much more better looking than ours, But eventually what attracted people to our place or our items is because of the stories behind the items. Because our volunteers there for the whole day, they have been, smiling to people and inviting people to our booth, and they will start off by asking, do you have some time? I want to share some story with you. So people were attracted, and they were also moved by the stories. It's all the efforts from the volunteers there. So from all of this, and also, so all the money that we collected, actually we donate them to support the California wildfire. And the women in Nepal, actually, they do know. And because of this, they also want to contribute their effort in supporting the California wildfire. So they were all donated. So we had this instance when one lady actually came up to our booth, and she told us that her house was destroyed during that wildfire, so she was one of the victims. And at that time, she received some form of support from Tzu Chi. So today, when she came to the artisan fair and she recognized our uniform, and she came up to us and she said, "I also want to contribute today." So she bought some items from us, and from being helped, and from today, she's someone who is able to offer her help again, right? So like all of these moments, it served as a reminder for myself that the power of storytelling, how we are able to use storytelling to engage and connect with people. And also I realized the importance of, if we want to tell a touching story, it has to come from you. So I also realized the importance of myself to start to create stories, like collect my stories. And to do that, I have to do more. I have to contribute more. And the more I do, and along the way, I will be able to have a lot of stories to share with others as well. Yeah. So my message to all for today, we can all think about our stories to share with others. Like, if you don't, you can always start today. Yeah, thank you.
I love that. Thanks, Eunice. And so I think it's been really beautiful in that, like, we've kind of collected some reflections from you around like the power of stories, and as someone who got to tell us some stories too, get to experience that simultaneous. And so both Brother Sho and Sister Cecilia are wonderful storytellers, and we've really enjoyed the long-form presentation that you've been able to share. But I'd like to pick up on 2 points, first to Brother Sho and then to Sister Cecilia. Brother Sho spoke about in his presentation cultivating kindness and hope, right? And so for all of our volunteers and Tzu Chi family present here, do you have any advice about what you can do to connect with strangers to let them feel that kindness and hope that you were able to give to our communities in India? Like, what can we be doing here, local in Boston, to like cultivate that love and hope?
Yeah, I think as far as I know, Boston is one of the area where, on average, the IQ is one of the highest. You have a pool of very talented people having this Harvard University and MIT. So I believe that there are a lot more that we can work together, because people like us, we are the warrior that permit us, thanks to Master Chen Yen and the family as well, that I spend nearly 85% of my time outside of Malaysia. We spend most of our time in Nepal and India, juggling between these two. It was never an easy task, but I think that we having Sister Cecilia and myself, and plus a few others volunteer, with very limited resources. There's very limited things that we can do over there. But I believe that with the combination of talents from all of you, we'll be able to do a lot more for them. And with the enhancement of technology, we believe, people like you who are very savvy technically, will be able to help us remotely as well. Like most of these children that we start to approach, we felt that they are not skillful enough, especially English. Though Indian is very famous, there are a lot of CEOs who are Indian, but majority of them, I think more than 90% of them can't even speak proper English, especially on the state, Bihar state. So I think we are thinking of organizing this remote online tuition for them, So people like you who can speak so well, we believe that you can guide them, and give them hope that one day, hopefully, they become a graduate of Harvard or MIT one day. So I think these are something that you can do. Apart from it, I believe that, you guys may have something in mind that probably you can help us remotely as well. You can plan for us, having one of the poorest state in India. So how can we put on strategy
how do we change, how do we transform them? And these are input, which is very important. Probably you can give us some idea how to go forward, you know. And you guys have also learned a lot from the local American NGO. What are the strategy, what are the actions that they can do to alleviate the poverty and give them hope to this marginalized society? So I look forward for your comment and feedback. So let's work together, at least on the English tuition class to start with. Yeah, we can conduct.
We can do that.
Good.
We actually
Thank you
do
so
this
much.
with Taiwan.
Yeah.
It's one of the most popular programs we have in Susao.
Yeah.
Oh, good, good, good. Thank you so much.
Oh,
yeah,
we love
can
that.
we
We
can
love to
explore
have
that.
that,
Okay, we organize that with Tiffany, Steve, and the rest of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brother Show. I think in how you approached answering our question, we can tease out two key things, right? Like identifying where people's gaps are, and then identifying talent that we have to fill those gaps is a way that we can concretely bring that sort of kindness and hope into their lives, right? For so many of these individuals, they've been suffering for so long invisibly, and no one's ever asked for anything on their behalf. Right? So even if we can't be the ones to solve their problems, to be standing in a room with others who have talent, who have skill, and say, I have a community that I care about that is looking for help, I think is a beautiful way to kind of exemplify how you've been able to do this in India over the years. And so Sister Cecilia, to you, I know Brother Show has shown some photos of like himself in the clinic, right, on an IV drip because of heat stroke, living in difficult situations and facing so many setbacks and frustrations. And I know for you yourself, you've faced so many of these challenges and difficulties in trying to teach and empower these women and girls to sew and like overcome these cultural and skills-based barriers. What have you been able to, what has been like some of those like sources and well springs that you've been able to hold on to overcome that sense of frustration and challenge when you're in those moments of difficulty?
That's a good question, Steve. All right. I think, yes, Steve is correct. Like, each time when we are about to travel back to Nepal, for myself, I need to have a lot of small talks within myself because I have to going back to environments that I may not have enough shopping. As simple as like clean water, electric power, and even Wi-Fi. So it's quite difficult at the beginnings. But as like I mentioned just now, we already found out and realized a lot of hidden difficulties, and they are willing to get close to us. And the most importantly is we know that Sangren is with us. And there is a lot of time then when we have obstacles, we can get a solution. This is what I think that I make my values. It's like I never known from my childhood, I already start on all of the tailoring, and at last it brings me back to benefit the rest of the woman life. This is why I'm here. This is my first time in CSW, and it's my first time like overwhelming with all of the voices to fight for the rights for the women's. And there was a lot of time I've been motivated and inspired with the system and the way of storytelling from the rest of the organizations. I'm flying from Nepal, transit in Malaysia, and further to Taiwan and to New York. Just that we are trying to do something or to get a better solutions that we can bring back to Sangren in order to give us a more precise solutions to make productive. So I think this is why I'm like willing to contribute in the field. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Sister Cecilia. I think we'll pause our reflections in this point. We have about 5 minutes left, so we want to hold space for questions. But I'll quickly summarize. As we think about how we explore values and actions to achieve gender equality, right? Sister Cecilia, you speak to the power of community, the power of like a good moral compass and like an inspirational vision that Dharma Master Zen Yen brings you, right? That keeps you and reminds you in those moments of hardship that there is a way forward, and the way forward is with community, right? Brother Sho has been speaking to how we need to show up and amplify the needs of others that aren't necessarily in the room with us, but we can bring their challenges to those who have the resources to call on their behalf. I think we've also spoken about across Eunice, Tiff, and myself about the importance of embodying the values of gender equality so we can show others what that could possibly look like, the importance of bravery, right, and standing up in moments of fear and challenge to push ourselves a little bit further than our comfort zone to say, I know what good can come if I'm willing to be a little braver, right, and maybe ask the question in the room that I wasn't willing to ask before. And all the while exercising deep gratitude for the resources and communities that we do have that are behind us, supporting us along the way, right? All the while, as we want to champion gender equality, we need to understand what gender equality means to us. And so gaining knowledge, deepening our understanding of what this complex issue is and where we stand in it all, I think is a beautiful action that we can be taking. And all along the while, finding ways to share stories with each other, whether that's in settings like this, across the table drinking tea with friends, or in big giant conference rooms. We believe in the power of stories to touch people's hearts, and I hope that your hearts have been touched today as you spend your time with us. So I'll pause here, and we'll hold space for questions, both in person, and Jeff, if there's any questions online, we'd be happy to take them as well. And so I'll pause here. It's a moment for questions. If there's no questions, that's totally okay, because we all know that sometimes we're shy, and so what we can do is we can close the session, and then you can just come and talk to us afterwards as well too. Yeah? Okay.
I just want to apologize being late here because I have some commitment.
No problem. We're so happy that you're here with us. Okay, cool. If there's no questions, we'll please join me in giving a round of applause to all of our speakers. We're so grateful you're here with us tonight. We'll close the session for now, and programming-wise, we'll look forward to the next time that the Cambridge Outreach Center has more programming. And so with that, I'll pass it over to Latika for any closing thoughts on her side, any announcements of future events, anything cool that people should be looking forward to.
Yeah, so thank you all for coming today, and it's 我可以用中文吗？对，就是就谢谢大家，然后就是我们就可以大家会后就是把握交流的机会，对，然后就谢谢大家。不需要介绍一下。